To see you all. Just taking a minute to get this up and going. Hey everyone. Thanks so much for being here and for tuning in. Really excited for our webinar. Welcome to Connecting with Your Angels for Guidance and Protection. This is webinar one, live from the west coast of Scotland. I live in a town called Bear's Den. This is my puppy Thor, who was crying right before I was about to come on video. So I thought I'll just give him a little cuddle. And then I realized maybe he just wants to say hello to everyone. So welcome along. Thank you for being here. We have so many people just tuning in. I can see we've got Indiana, Connecticut, from the UK, Denmark, Dublin, Essex, Toronto, Canada, Mexico, Devon, Las Vegas, Kent, Australia, Merseyside, Edinburgh, New York, New Jersey, Wales, Cumbernauld, that's near me, London, Salzburg, New Brunswick, Los Angeles, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, amazing, Hawaii, Massachusetts. Where else we got? Phoenix, Arizona, Spain, Queens, Melbourne, Oahu. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, amazing. So many people. There are loads of people just dropping in right now. We're going to just take a few minutes just before we officially start. I want to just encourage you a few things that you can do to make the most of this experience. If you have a pen and paper, you are more than welcome to take any notes. And one of the things I've always found about when we do these kind of gatherings together is that any information that you learn here is your information, and you are encouraged to share it. So anything that you gain from this experience, I highly encourage you to share that. So that means you might want to share a little tip that you learned on your social media. It might be with your own spiritual friends. It might be with your own community. But if you learn anything new here that supports your journey with the angels, it is so cool. And I want you to go out there and to share that, because one of the things that I have really come to understand is that whatever we gain from this, if we can share it with other people, then we are contributing in service to the well-being of others, and we are spreading this love wherever we go. So if you learn anything new, you know, it's so important for you to go out there and share that. The other thing I wanted to really take time to acknowledge is that all of us in this space, we are all of equal standing. There is not one person more sacred, more holy, more spiritual than the other. Everything that I have learned about spirituality is things that I've picked up along the way and from my own experiences. But it doesn't make me any more sacred or any more special than you. It's important to know that as soon as you put someone on a pedestal and make them more gifted, more spiritual, or more sacred than yourself, you deny an aspect of your own holiness. And so that's why I always come into this space and say, we are all equals. We are of equal standing. We've all come from that same source of creation, and we will all return to that same source of creation. And it's so important to know that we have the same God, we have the same creator, and we will always, all of us, go back to that same place. So whenever I have the opportunity to speak to a large amount of people like we're doing right now, I will say that, you know, I know some cool things, and you know, my ideas and what I've learned along the way will feel like good teachings to you. But it's not about me being more special than you. In fact, what I am doing ultimately, and my goal is to mirror back to you the magic that's already within you. So everything that I have is also yours. Everything that I have learned, you can also tap into. So I'm going to take a moment just to turn off the chat. And the reason for that is I know if you're watching on a handheld device, uh, it can be really distracting with the chat coming up. I have turned that off. I will be taking questions. And so during this class, if you'd like to ask any questions, at the bottom panel, you will find a Q&A button where you can click and submit a question. They will build up. I encourage you to take some time before you ask a question, because you might find before we get to question time that I've answered some of your questions. And then the other thing I was going to say is, if you are on social media, if you're on Instagram, please tag me in anything that you share about this, because I love to see your journey and I love to see what you're learning from this. So you can find me on Instagram, Kyle Gray UK, all one word. All right, so hopefully we can make the most of this, and my puppy is going to stay tame, and that we enjoy this together. And I've got a lot of things I'd like to cover, but before we get into that, I want to tune in. And I've got two sound bowls here just to help you wash away any extra energy that's maybe not serving you, any energy that's standing between you and your greatness. And of course, the topic of this webinar today is angelic protection. It's all about helping you feel safe. So in order for us to welcome in the angels, and in order for us to have an experience of them, it's always good to kind of tidy away and clean away anything that's standing between you and the natural gifts and the intuition within you. And if you've had a stressful day, or you're feeling the pressure of the world because there's so much things happening out there, this is an opportunity to let the sound wash away anything that's, just getting in the way. And I'm going to do a little call to the angels while we do that. So bring your feet down onto the ground or the earth below you, or if you're sitting in a cross-legged position, that's also okay. And just open up your palms for a second and close your eyes and take a big deep inhale and exhale it all away. And then take another inhale and exhale it all away. We set the intention right now that whatever is gained from this gathering today, may it be for the greatest good of all beings in the four corners of the world. And may whatever information we learn be information that can be shared. And into this space, we thank the Great Mother, first of all, Earth for holding us and hosting us, and for giving us a path to walk. And to the great Father of the sky, Creator, Father God, thank you for giving us the capacity to live and love and be loved. Today we create a bridge between the realms, between heaven and earth. A bridge in which the angels can cross. Thank you, angels of supreme light, God's great messengers, for entering this space, for holding this space, for reminding us of your presence, and for revealing to us what we need to know. I'm calling the angels. I'm Bring your hands onto the heart space and breathe towards your heart. Within you is a great light that is never going out. A great light that has the opportunity to shine whenever it faces darkness. Darkness is not badness. It's simply uncertainty and sometimes the absence of love. Wherever you are present, love is present. Know that this great power is your inheritance, God-given, with you now, forever, and always. And that love that exists within you, that great light, is the bridge between the realms, the bridge the angels can cross. And the angels are here now. Thank you, angels. We are so grateful to know you are here. And so it is. Everything in this entire universe is energy. That includes you. That includes me. Every single one of us have the capacity and the ability to connect with, read, and even understand when there's fluctuations in the energy around us. Most of the time, we're not even conscious that we're having this experience where we are picking up on what's going on around us. All of us have the awareness of knowing what it's like to walk into a room one day, whether it be at your workplace or maybe at home sometimes, where you are met with a feeling that something is off. Even if you've not seen everyone that's there, if someone's having a bad day, you can just know. You can just feel it. It's almost as if you can cut the air with a knife. It feels thick. It feels overwhelming. And there's a part of us that wants to run away. We also, all of us, know what it's like to walk into a room and be met by love or by joy. For example, moments of your life, you've went to a birthday party and people are laughing and singing, or maybe you've even been on public transport like a train and people are laughing and you can't help but laugh with them because for some reason it's infectious. The funniest little thing about all of this story is that all of us have been both of those people. All of us have been that person that's having a not so good day and in turn became infectious with that feeling. Other people have experienced it and can feel it from us. But all of us have also been the person that brings love and joy and happiness. So we've all experienced it by feeling it, and we've all expressed it by being it. So before we go any further into this conversation around the angels, will you agree with me that in some way you are not only just a receiver of energy, you are a transmitter of energy? The subtleties of the energy around you and the subtleties of walking into different environments can only be described with one word: vibration. Vibration within a lot of spiritual teachings is the creational sound. It's like the beginning. I'm very fascinated by Hindu teachings and the teachings of the East, where the world was created by the sound Om. It was a vibration. But that has also been placed into the Hebrew Bible and the Bible itself as, God created sound, or the word, and then life became. For some reason, from the beginning of time, we've all been aware of energy and expressing it. We're also living in this very interesting time, a digital age, where we as human beings have also learned to be able to interpret energy in new ways, and we don't even know we're doing it. In fact, we take it for granted. I'm sure all of you in this place right now have had a digital conversation of some description, whether it be from a text message, an email, or maybe instant messenger. And even if the person that you are speaking to has not told you, you are aware of that person and their energy, and if they're having a bad day. So even though someone can text you in normal language and in a normal day-to-day conversation, you can tell just by looking at a cell phone screen if they are not feeling themselves that day. This is intuition. This is the language of vibration. And you, my friend, have the ability to feel it. Now, somewhere along the lines of spiritual teaching, we have been taught, and it's kind of been pushed through kind of religion, that only certain people have the ability to be able to connect with the divine on a visceral, full body level. But that's not the truth. Because you and I have the same creator. We have come from the same place. We will return to the same place. In fact, maybe you'll agree that everything in this entire universe is one. Something that sages and psychics have been saying for ages, but now modern day science supports that all of us are connected through this invisible bond of energy. It's what we call oneness. So I wanted, before we dive deep into connecting with the angels, to remind you of these little hidden talents that maybe you're not even aware of, that you can pick up a cell phone, and tell from a text message if someone's not feeling themselves that day. Or maybe you can predict that they're going to text you that. You might feel something's off and then hear news. So that's energy. It's subtle energy. In the same way that you feel those things and have this awareness of walking into a room, is the same way you connect with the angels. The angels exist on what can only be described as a higher vibration, but it's not coming soon and it's not up and out there. It's here right now. Even though we've been taught that heaven is up, it's probably not up, but probably maybe to the side. I definitely look up to the night sky and the heavens and feel connected to my creator, but it doesn't always mean that he's or they are all just there. It's all around me. It's just, for some reason, that vastness of the great midnight sky reminds us of our somewhat insignificance and our significance all at the same time. So I wanted to encourage you to realize that language of energy is always happening around you, and you're doing it all the time, even if you're not aware of it. And in order for you to connect with the angels, in order for you to begin opening up to them, you just have to allow yourself to recognize that these subtleties are things you're already picking up, and you can do even more. And it's just through time and patience and awareness that you're able to start picking things up, just like a radio receiving a signal. Now, I wanted to scale back to one thing I mentioned before we go any further, is that over the years, we've been taught that only certain people can have these connections and only certain people can connect in this way. And I don't believe that's true. I'll tell you probably why this was a thing back in the day. And I'm talking about in more, older times, and I'm going back hundreds of years. That this has been instilled into humanity from the very beginning. And it's because it was a good marketing ploy back then. They didn't have email lists and they didn't have Facebook sponsored ads or anything like that. They had word of mouth. And so into the teachings and into a lot of the spiritual texts that also have a lot of wisdom, there's also these very elitist ideas that has been pushed in, that only certain people can have the gift to connect with certain beings. So it's maybe been reserved for certain elders or priests or high leaders within certain movements. And the reason for that is it meant that people then went and turned to these people for wisdom and insight, but kind of in some way gave away a lot of their own power. And I really believe that we are in this now age where no longer do we need leaders or gurus or great teachers that put themselves above us, but more Now is the time to find the leaders and the teachers that in turn us back onto ourselves and encourage us to recognize and to realize that the gifts that we're looking for are actually within. Now, whether you realize it or not, you've been following a call and a feeling this whole time that in fact has led you to this conversation today. So before I go any further, I wanted to say thank you to you from your angels. Whether you realize it or not, you have heard a call, a great call from the angels, and it probably goes beyond this lifetime. I believe the soul is recycled. It's probably been here for many, many lifetimes. And every time we have a shot at coming to Earth, I really believe that before we embody and before we come down here, we set an intention or a goal for ourselves that we will try and make this world a better place, or we'll try and overcome the challenges of the previous lifetime. And often, believe or remember our source and remember where we've came from and our spiritual truth. Now, I believe that if you are here in this conversation, I believe that in some way you have awakened this spiritual truth. And it might show up in your life something like this. I want to be better for my kids. I want to be better for my partner. I want to make this world a better place. I want to know my creator on a personal level. I want to really have this spiritual practice. I want to know my angels. If you have felt that or expressed that, if that has been your silent prayer, if that has been something you've felt, thank you. You have heard a call. You are waking up to something that was an intention before this lifetime. I believe before you were in this body, when you were in the heavens, you were dancing across the midnight sky. The universe is magnetic and likeness attracts likeness. You'll know that from the types of friends you attract into your life. I know for certain that when I was, growing up, and even to this day, the friends that I have are very similar to me in the sense where a lot of us wear the same clothes, or we're attracted to the same music, we'll show up in the same color scheme, we'll be drawn to the same sports. There's a lot of likeness there. And the universe is similar, and sparks of the universe is similar, like you and I. When we were dancing across the midnight sky, we were magnetic and attractive in nature. And we drew towards us other beings and lights and sparks of greatness that were similar. So that could possibly be who you call your soul family today. That might even be your loved ones on the earth today. But your angel was also there. Your angel and you danced across the midnight sky together. And as you moved across the midnight sky, they moved across the midnight sky, and there was a likeness between you, and you were attracted together. And that's when they became your angel. And they were with you through lifetime upon lifetime upon lifetime. And every time you were, here on this planet, you before you came into this planet, you hoped to remember them. And in this lifetime, you're working on it, or maybe you have. So your angel and you already know each other. So before we go any further and jump into this experience, you already know your angel. And the reason that you're in this conversation today is because you're remembering something before this lifetime. The angels, the word angel comes from the Greek word angelos, which means messenger. And through spiritual teaching, we're taught that the angels are the messengers of God. That is true. They are the messengers of the divine. But it's not just like one big creator up there and the kind of workers that work from there, they're more connected. The best way for me to describe it to you, because I've had the pleasure and the privilege of seeing visions of this, is that the universe is this gigantic big heart, and this heart is pulsating and it's beating. And every time that beat, every time that heart is to beat, the beat would be an angel. So therefore, the angels are one with the universe. They are one with God, not separate. So God is the heart, the angels is the beat. And so therefore, when you're connecting with the angels, you are in direct connection with the glory of God. When you are praying to angels, you are in direct connection with the heart of Source. Now, before I go into that even more, I want to just flag up here that my personal approach is non-religious. I have a non-religious, non-denominational approach to this. I really believe that the presence of love, God, the universe, is bigger than religion. But I've also, had the pleasure of working with people from all different backgrounds. So I've always found a way to find a common denominator with everyone from every spiritual path, and that is love. And that's what I work for. That's what I connect with. And that's what I'm speaking about when I'm talking about the angels. So the angels are the universe or Source or God's messengers. They are always one with that presence. They're never separate. And so when you're working with the angels, you're working with God. Why do they exist? The angels are essentially these personal expressions of love, and their purpose ultimately is to remind us who we truly are. And through that, if we remember who we truly are and, consistently connect with that and come back to that, I genuinely believe will help heal this world, will make this place better and live in a more purposeful way. Angels can help us with everything and anything in our life. And the best way for us to do that is to welcome them. The angels require an invitation in order for them to work with us and to come into our life. So, whenever you want to connect with an angel, the best way for you to do that is through the words, thank you. We'll dive really deep into the angel prayers technique in webinar 2. Today is all about protection, and I'm getting there, but you do require the thank you prayers to help you administer angelic protection. So the angels need an invitation, and it's because they are working under this divine law of free will. So, all of us have our own life in our own hands, in the sense where we have many choices and many decisions. And the angels are working with the divine in a sense where they never want to force their way into our lives and into our world unless they are invited or unless they can intersect and save us in a life or death situation. And that is not always available to them. And I'm not sure why some people are saved and some people are not. I don't know all the answers. And if you know me, I write a column in Women's World in the US, and every single week I am sent in these incredible testimonies and stories of people being saved by unseen presences. And I don't know why certain people have and some people are not. But the one thing I've always found is that if you've had a great intention for your life, and that's the wheels are in turn to make that happen, and something's going to happen that stops you from being there, then the angels will intersect. I'll tell you, this one time I was invited to Florida to as part of an investigation. I was there with a theologian and an FBI agent, and we were investigating. It was for a TV show actually, but it never aired. This couple who were driving down the highway one night after celebrating an anniversary, And as they were driving home, a drunk driver crossed the highway and hit their car head on, at 70 miles an hour, very high impact. And instantly, their car rolled over and exploded into flames. And it ends well, don't worry. This is such a tragic situation. I'm sorry to paint the scary story, but from that situation, while the car was in fire and they were going through this really tragic circumstance, lots of people pulled off on the motorway, and the lady was looking out her passenger window. And as she did so, the story always gets me emotional. She said this prayer, dear God, I've heard that you have a wonderful home. And, if you're there, um, thank you for sending your angels to guide me to my rightful place, and said this prayer of, somewhere along the lines of, not always made the best decisions, but, forgive me for that, all these kind of things. And as she did so, she saw with her own two eyes this angel scooping her up into his arms, and she began her ascent to heaven. At the same time as that happening, everyone had stopped on the motorway and didn't know what to do because the car's on fire and they don't want to go in because they could risk their lives. This man came running out from the side of the road so fast and with, mighty strength, was able to rip the door open of this burning car and physically lift out the lady and carry her to safety. And by that point, ambulances and fire engines were on the site, God bless them, and police, and they were able to take them to the safety at the side of the road and rescue them. So obviously they had injuries and burns and all these different things and all these different things. But as the lady was put on her stretcher over this time, the man who pulled her out of the car placed his hands on her cheeks and he says, "You're going to be okay." Anyway, the next couple of days were a whirlwind, but basically the story went was that everyone who was watching on the ground actually seen physically with their eyes, and there was over like 40 different people, witnessed this man with superhuman strength come and rescue this couple from this burning car. And so when they finally, regained consciousness over that week, the policeman had came up to the couple and said, "Did you see the angel?" And they were like, "Yes, we seen the angel, It saved our lives." So I find that a really amazing story. And anyway, I was there on this investigation and talking about, the miracle of it. And I had the pleasure of working with this couple, and I was able to tune into the angelic realm and ask, was there a reason that they were saved? And the angels basically told me that it was something to do with being parents, and I didn't know this, but it turned out that the family went on to adopt several children and made this world a better place by saving all these kids without homes. So that's a testimony and a story that the angels can help, not always when they're asked. They can come in, and then when we're having the experience, we have the opportunity to ask for the help after seeing them. So I always believe that when many of us have been exposed to traumatic and challenging and emotional circumstances, that often that's why we are more open to the angels. And I think that's why I personally have had the skill set to develop a connection with the angelic realm. And I'm not going to go into too deep, but as a child, I had Guillain-Barre syndrome, which is an autoimmune virus that attacks the nervous system. And I spent several months paralyzed in a wheelchair. And through that time, I really believe that I developed a great sensitivity. And after my body recovered, had the experience of seeing my grandmother after she crossed over. So I really believe that that's what opened me up. And I think all of us have that sensitivity when we're children, when we're babies. And then as we grow up, um, we learn about the world and ego gets in the way. And often a lot of these gifts are, quietened or turned down. Many of you watching this right now have probably had feelings and felt things and seen things when you were younger, but were scared to share it or were encouraged not to. You can reclaim that. It's never too late. And the ability to speak to the angels is a muscle that you can strengthen. And one of the best ways for you to strengthen that is just by consistently moving into that invitation space of inviting the angels into your world. So, depending on what spiritual tradition you follow, or if not, you can just say, "Thank you, angels, for reminding me of your presence." That's the best way to do it. But for example, when I was, invited to work with that couple who were saved by the angel on the highway that night, they were Christian. And so I said to them, you can say, in the presence of my Savior, "Thank you, angels, for reminding me of your presence." So you can do it in a way whatever feels in honor and in respect to the path that you follow. Like I said, I personally don't follow that. So the next step is experiencing angels. You have the capacity and the ability to experience angels. And, you might feel a little bit apprehensive of that. So I want to just say that if you're feeling nervous of seeing an angel, I want you to know that these are beings of love. They often appear in human form, but they can also take other forms. And sometimes it might just be a sign. And we're really going to track into signs in number 3. So the angels will always show themselves to you in a way that you can understand and you can recognize, but also in a way that you'll feel safe with. So if you're a little bit, overwhelmed by the idea of waking up through the night and seeing a big light at the end of your bed, do not be concerned. The angels would never do it in a way where you don't feel prepared. They'll always do it in a way that feels safe. I had angels in my room last night. I think it was because we're in preparation for this today. And we also had a loss in our family this week. And last night, I could feel the presence of angels drawing close, and it was a real comfort. And today I've seen them several times in my meditation. So they're always here. Whenever I see my guardian angel, he always appears in a light form, as a human. But I've also seen my guardian angel appear as a physical being, and he was a black man wearing armory and so strong and so regal and honorable. Felt like such an incredible experience. But you might just feel a presence, and you might just see a color. And we're going to do a visualization in a second to invite your guardian angel to reveal their light or their color to you, so that you can see that in your meditation. Now, feeling safe is essential for you to connect with the angelic realm. And there's a particular archangel called Archangel Michael. And if you follow me on social media, I've got very many different forms of Archangel Michael. His name, Michael, in Hebrew, is the word for basically the words he who is like God. And so therefore, Archangel Michael has always shown up as this kind of mighty angel with armory, and he carries a sword of light. And I want to say that most people, when you start your spiritual path, will learn about spiritual protection. And you might learn about that as this way of putting yourself in a bubble. Well, a lot of over the years, I used to put myself in a bubble, and it might be at the wrong time. So let me explain this. I'm a sensitive person, and sometimes I've met people along the way, and not to be rude, they've maybe felt draining or overwhelming at times. And then in those moments, I'm like, oh, I'll put myself in a bubble of protection. But there's a reason why that's not always the best route to follow. And it's because when we are exposed to a vibration or an energy that we don't like, that's often when we're reminded that we need protection. So if you felt it already and then you place yourself in a bubble of light, you're cling wrapping it in. So the energy is bubbled you up and you're holding it in. So it's important to cut all of this away and then put yourself in a bubble. And that's when I created the 3-step process, working with this amazing archangel. And he shows up in many different forms. So you might see him like this, he might look different, but he's always been known to have a blue and fiery light or energy. He carries this sword, and this sword is to cut from your energy any lower vibrations or vibrations that don't serve you. So just because you don't like someone's vibe doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not your vibe. And in order for you to feel safe, you want to remove that. So we're going to take you through this process of cleanse, tone, and moisturize. So the first step is you invite Archangel Michael to cleanse away from your field any stuff that is no longer serving you. I've put this whole prayer already on my Instagram for you. So after this, if you want to go and screen grab it, you can go and get it on my Instagram. I put it on this guy's picture. The second phase is toning, and that's using a positive affirmation to remember who you are, to remember that there's something powerful inside of you. I use an affirmation that says, I am the keeper of my mind and of my body. Wherever love is present, fear is a stranger, and love is here in me. So I say that, and then you put on the bubble. So you're cleansing all the debris away, all the low vibration, all the stuff that isn't serving you. You're toning your energy. You're making an affirmation of who you truly are, and then you're placing yourself in a bubble. So whenever I'm feeling a weird vibe, I usually do this twice a day, but if I'm out somewhere and I forgot to do this, which is highly unlikely, I will always say, excuse me, can you just give me 2 minutes? I either have to go and take a call in the car, I need to go to the bathroom, wherever I am, I'll go and take myself away for 5 minutes and I'll do this process, and then I'll come back and I'll have a better experience. So you can do this before, if you do any energy healing or Reiki or go to a meditation class, or maybe you have to have, an overwhelming or challenging conversation with a neighbor or a loved one. This is something that will protect you. But feeling safe is so essential to connecting with the angels, because if you do not feel safe, you create your own shields. All of us try and protect ourselves by either crossing our arms, or if we're in an elevator, we'll look at our phone. We do this thing where we try and shut away the world to try and protect ourselves. But when we do that, we put up our own shield, not a God-given or God-made shield, a shield that we've created. And that's when we don't let the divine plan unfold. And so when we create our own shields, these shields can block our spiritual vision or our empathy or our intuition from experiencing the angelic kingdom and the angelic realm, because ultimately when we create shields, we can also block ourselves from experiencing divine love. So that can be one shield. It can be the shield of worried of experiencing an angel because you aren't in control of it. Or maybe you're worried about experiencing an angel because, a spiritual leader or has told you that only certain people can do that. But the truth is, if we're ever scared of experiencing an angel, it's not because we're really scared of seeing an angel, because ultimately they're divine love. Often we're just scared of being that powerful, because in that moment, the power is in our hands and it's in our heart and it's on us. And not all of us are ready for that level of deep responsibility. So I know if you're in this space right now, you are ready to be that powerful, and you're ready to cut down these shields and barriers and the cords that bind you to old situations and stories of unworthiness in your past. I know if you're here right now, there's a part of you that has recognized that you are worthy of experiencing your angel. And in fact, you are ready to do that. And I know that from this point onwards, you're probably going to start seeing a little couple of signs or having a feeling that your guardian angel is there. So what I'm going to do now, instead of just talking all the time, and I realize time is going so fast, is just to remind you, if you feel a fluctuation in the temperature, if it gets a little bit chilly, if it gets a little bit hot, your angel is there. You'll see that I start to perspire a little bit because when I speak about the angels, when I work with the angels, I get really warm. And Archangel Michael, because he carries this big sword of fire, he can make you have a bit of a flush moment. So do not concern. It's probably not the change of life. It is probably just your angels coming close. I hope you'll laugh there. So that if you close your eyes and you smell something like a sweet rose, or it can sometimes be tobacco, or like a herb, that can also be your angel. If you close your eyes, you see a color, that could be your angel. You might feel a presence on one side. You might, have a sweet taste in your mouth, or your tummy might just swirl. Whatever these, feelings you get, that is your angels drawing close. They're here, and you are tapping into the fluctuations and the vibration of your energy field around you. Okay, I'm going to lead you through the protection, and I'm going to get you just to bring your palms, allow them to face upwards in your lap. I want you to take a moment to breathe. Take a drink. Angels are with you right now. They're here in this space because we've already called them in. Whether you're aware of it or not, they are here. In order to feel and connect with your angels, you want to shift your vibration. The best way for you to do so and to raise up your vibration is to think about something or someone that you are grateful for. Think of someone or something that you're grateful for right now. And as you tune into what you're most grateful for, know that the gratitude you feel generates a great light in the center of your being at your heart. And this great light shines through the entirety of your being. And the light of your gratitude is attractive in nature, and it draws towards you angels of divine light, and they are with you now. You have one or more guardian angels with you working at one time, and often a number of archangels who are like the manager angels overseeing these angels and also supporting you with your life and its purpose. In order to have a deeper, more clearer experience of the angels, you have to feel safe. In order to do so, you want to clear away anything that's standing between you and your gifts and greatness. So at this moment, into the space we call Archangel Michael. Say this prayer after me. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for stepping into my field of energy right now. I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for cutting the unnecessary cords that bind me to people, places, situations, fears, stories, or concerns that stand between me, my gifts, and my greatness. And as you do so, there might be old stories or fears or concerns popping up in your mind. But no, as they show up, they are being cut away. This great angel of light is using a sword, like taking scissors to ribbons and cutting from your energetic field these attachments. The cords are now cut. Affirm, I am safe. I am free. Bring your hands onto heart space. So hands onto the heart, palms down. And I want you to say this affirmation. I am the keeper of my mind and body. Wherever love is present, fear is a stranger. And love is here in me. I am the keeper of my mind and of my body. Wherever love is present, fear is a stranger, and love is here in me. Finally, open your palms towards the heavens. And imagine that a piercing light is coming from the heart of Source, so that is God. A piercing light is coming down from the heart of Source, and it's wrapping your whole entire body up in a bubble of light. I am protected by angels and the light of Source. And then bring your palms back onto your lap. And I want you to take a big deep breath in. And let it all go. And allow your awareness and your attention to open up from where you are right now. I want you to feel with your body. Is your angel on the left or the right? You might rock in the direction that they are. Are they slightly before you or behind you? And thank your guardian angel for being here. Say, guardian angel, thank you for being here. Thank you for stepping forward. Thank you for revealing your name or a color associated with you so that I can connect with you. And just be aware of if any colors come in. You might hear the word, you might see the color, you might hear a name, you might feel something. You just be aware of whatever comes up and trust that it is there. And now just make your own personal commitment to this. Like if you want to take this further, you want to dive deeper, just share whatever you feel is right with your guardian angel. Know that they are one of the greatest friends and allies you'll ever meet. They always have your best interest at heart. They're always working for the greatest good. And that you are safe in their presence. They love you. And then just say, thank you, angel, for revealing to me any information I need to know. I'm willing to listen. And you might just hear a short message, a one-liner or one word that your angel wants you to know. And when you've received that, just smile and say thanks. Take a big deep inhale. Let it all go. And when you're ready, just come back into this space as we say, thank you, angels, and so it is. I hope you have enjoyed this. I'm going to take some time to answer questions, but whatever you got from that, I'd love to see in the chat. So what did you experience? Did you hear anything? Did you see anything? What came through? Like what my angel said, I love you. Oh my goodness, that's just like the most perfect message, simple and to the point. Melissa, what does it mean if I got nothing? Do not worry. Whenever we say these prayers, sometimes it happens over the next few days. So if you didn't see anything, you didn't feel anything, don't worry. You can try again. This is available on replay. You can come back to this and try again. You can just skip to this part, try it one more time. But look for colors showing up in your life, or words, or a feeling that the angels are close. You might see a feather. Demi, I heard a message. Whoa. Paula, I got the word safe. Kristen, I got so emotional, it brought me to tears. If you get emotional, please know when the angels come through, they are operating on such a high level of love that it can be overwhelming. But the angels, as they come in, as when they bring that love, it can be emotional for us because sometimes we really just need to be loved that way. It's like being held up in a loved one's arms. Love was my word from Moonshine. Um, I got love too, Yasmin says. Mallory, I heard the word trust. Christy, oh my goodness, that was so beautiful. I saw dark purple and magenta colors. Wow, love that. Tiffany, I heard the word acceptance. Annabelle, I felt super emotional. Oh, this is a great one. Chamali, I felt tingling in my left hand. The left hand is the receiving hand on a spiritual level. If you felt tingling, it meant the energy was coming in. Alan, I had full body goosebumps. So cool. Lucinda, I could see the color teal, so a teal color. Sharon had a brilliant cobalt blue. Amazing. Adele, I got gold. Love is the answer, Simone says. Okay, I'll do a couple of questions. And before you all go, I'm going to pick one person to come on live and I'm going to do an angel card reading for you. Okay, let's see. Wendy, how did you differentiate between the energy of spirit and as departed loved ones and the energy of angels? So angels have never had a human life, whereas spirit, as in the energy of departed loved ones, is the presence of someone who's returned. They're both very similar, but the angels have never had the human experience. There are some exclusions in that. I have found out, the angels told me, that any children who do not get to live out the fullness of their life, either children who, pass away in the womb or don't make it through the full pregnancy, or pass over in the early days of their life or the first few years of their life, they can become angels, because they've never had ego, they've never experienced the darkness of the world, they're just pure love. And so they return to love and can become angels. But our loved ones and our angels come through together. Often when you call in the angels, loved ones will show up. Often when you call in loved ones, angels will show up. They are working together in the heart of heaven. Once you have invited your angels, do you need to invite them every day? That's from Karen. Karen, I recommend you invite your angels several times a day. The reason for that is it's just to remind yourself to be in hope and to be in faith. And also, it gives the angels this constant permission and invitation into your life. And the more you do it, you actually strengthen the spiritual muscles that allow you to connect with them. So, Karen, I invite you to continually do it. I do it several times a day. I met a friend before, lockdown, and who saw me praying out loud in the middle of the street. And she's like, "You really do this, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yep, I do." So let's see. Is it true that there is total free will in our natal charts? Okay, that's a interesting question. I'm not really sure about that because I'm not an astrologer, but I definitely believe that we call in our parents, or we often choose certain parents because there's going to be a great lesson there or something to teach there. Can be hard to hear that sometimes, but I think we have something to do with that. Um, Linda, I do the angelic protection prayer in the morning when I first get up. Should I do it before bed? I recommend doing it in the morning and then night, because when we go out throughout the day, we still can be exposed to different energies, and it's always good just to make sure you're clearing off the day. So I always do a shower at night, and then I do my meditation practice, and I do all my prayers. So I recommend to do it twice. Aisling, can your guardian angel be a loved one? Your guardian angel is probably your guardian angel because your loved one most of the time has been here when you were here. But your guardian angel is there, and then your loved one can become like a guardian angel. So they're working together. Brandy, I love your presentation today. Thank you so much. Can we get this on replay from Penny? Yes, we'll send it out. Okay. Hopefully I've answered a lot of your questions and this is helpful to you all today. I'm going to pick one person, and hopefully I'm just going to type a random letter, and the first one that comes up is Gail Rappaport Wayland. I'm going to promote you to panelist. If you are willing to come on, all you have to do is just turn on, here we go. Gail, are you willing to come on and receive an angel card reading today? If I ask to unmute you. Gail, are you, I'm not sure.
I'm muted.
Gail, are you willing to come on today?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, my volume's down. Gail, sorry, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, would you like?
Yes.
Oh, great!
Oh,
Thank you.
I would die to come on. How do I do it?
Can I put your video on?
Yes. So how do I do it?
Hold on.
Make sure that your camera is powered.
It should be a video button down there.
To the.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I pushed it.
On the left, it says start video.
Yeah, click that.
Click it. Okay, yeah. And then it says you are muted. Press Alt-A to unmute. Oh. Make sure the camera is powered and is connected. It is.
Don't worry, we can hear you anyway. So okay. Where are you in the world, Gail?
I'm in Pismo Beach, California. I live in heaven. But I would love to show you that the angels that I was painting while I was talking to you, because I feel this is my passion and I love you. Oh my God.
Okay, well, we do have a lot of time, so I'm going to do this for you. Do you have a question you'd like me to ask the angel cards for you, or would you like me just to pick a couple of cards in general?
I would like, since I paint angels and I feel that it's my passion and that I meant to do it, and I sell some, but I also pay it forward a lot, and I feel that the angels are bringing me certain people, and I want to know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Doing the right thing. Great. Okay, let's see what we've got for you. Oh my goodness. First card, do the work.
Oh my God.
So your first card, whenever you do a reading, is always your strength. And so your strength card is doing the work. So this is the angels coming through for you today to tell you that you are doing the right thing, that you are doing the work. And this is an angel of light. I want you to know that the angels really want to acknowledge the great light that you bring to the world through doing this work. And, you know, it feels to me that it's not that you lost your way, but you kind of lost your way with yourself for a while. And it's like you really came home to you. It's like you kind of lost your connection for a minute in your spiritual path, and then you came home to yourself, and it all started to really open up, and the angels became a bigger part of your world, and that's when you really felt a shift in purpose.
Absolutely.
Now, the composure card is the heart card for you today. Now, that's because there's a little part of you that's a bit of a worrier, and you definitely sometimes can often worry about people so much that you end up inheriting and taking on their concerns and their problems. Now, the angels are saying have composure, even in the challenging times or the moments where, you know, you're really wanting to help someone get through this. Realize that they also have their path and that you have yours. You can't always fulfill your path if you're taking on the lessons of others.
Okay. Yes, I hear you.
Here's the big message: spiritual growth. This is what you're moving into. This is what's coming. You can experience a rapid sense of spiritual growth. You're going to go through what can only be described as initiatory experiences. That might be in dream form, it might be in meditation, it might be the feeling of being called to work on a specific thing or to share a specific message. But you're going to experience this deeper spiritual growth that's going to open you up to the angels in a whole new way. I definitely feel that the angels are coming through just in their reading today to kind of give you the thumbs up, and you being picked today is a sign that
Oh my
you're
God.
doing the right thing and that you're on the right path.
I love it. Can I ask you just one more crazy question? My father is 7-Eleven. Whenever I see that, I see it. The other day, I swear to you, it was not 7-Eleven. It was 8 something. I looked at the clock. It was 7-Eleven, and there
Yeah.
was no way.
Well, 7-Eleven, well, sevens are the number of manifestation and one is the number of oneness. So it sounds to me that when you get 7-Eleven, it means that your thoughts are creating the world around you. Be really clear with what you want to create, because you are one with what you're thinking. So that's really what 7-Eleven means. But our loved ones often will, you know, come in and bring numbers just like the angels do as well. Thank you for coming on today,
Okay,
Gail.
thank you so much. I love you. And if I can, I would love.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, I love you too. Everyone else, thank you so much for tuning into this today. I hope that you all learned something, that this supports your journey with the angelic realm. It was such a pleasure to be here with you all. Watch out for the next webinar. It's happening next week. We're going to dive deep into receiving guidance from the angels. We're going to be working with the angel prayer technique. And then in the final one, we're going to break down signs. So expect a PowerPoint presentation for that. I want to help you understand all of the signs. If you have Instagram, get at me on Kyle Gray UK. Until the next one, we will remind you that it is happening. I will see you then. Sending you lots of love. Have a beautiful day or evening ahead. See you all soon.